Superheroes fell out of fashion in the 1950s, an era of strangeness and paranoia. They were replaced with violent crime books and lurid horror, which caused a bit of a stir at the time and nearly knocked a stellar industry for six.
Oh, now that is a shame.
Yes, but don't worry too much.
Why ever not?
Because the superheroes return!
Yay! Huzzah! Kapow!
First over at DC, where stalwarts like Superman and Batman had weathered the storm. Then at Marvel Comics, where editor Stan Lee, along with artists Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, were having a whale of a time reinventing the genre and adding in a certain sense of soap opera realism to comic books like The Amazing Spider-Man, The Fabulous Fantastic Four, and not forgetting The Uncanny X-Men.
Huzzah!
Everyone, flee for your lives!
But was this exciting comic book revolution reflected in the movies that they made at the time?
Not in the slightest, Ems, because when superheroes finally did jump back onto the big screen, it was in camped-up Cape Crusader nonsense like this.
See, the new weapons in the Bat arsenal combat the forces of evil. The Batcopter. The exploding, man-eating shark. The relentless Megaton magnet. The Batboat.
Batmania hit the big time in the mid-60s as a TV show and spin-off feature, providing cliffhanger action for the little ones and some camp comedy for the grown-ups. Directly inspired by the 1940s serial, the Batman movie and TV series were smashing if short-lived successes, but what they did do was enshrine in the popular mind the idea that comic books were nothing but pow, zap, biff, bop, crack, pow, and all that sort of thing. Now, Italian exploitation filmmakers,
They were definitely never ones to miss a trick.
created their own cash-in camped-up costume crime fighters, and they were all rather silly.
Yay!
Invincible, invulnerable, Argo Man, the fantastic Superman.
Kill each other. Kill each other.
A man gifted with such extraordinary powers that ordinary men were helpless to cope with him.
Kill each other. Kill each other.
Kill each other. Kill each other.
Careful, with your power of mind control, you could wipe out all three of our viewers.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that would be a terrible shame.
I just don't really understand why it was called Argo Man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with the Argonaut, do you think? Well, either way, there was a Super Argo as well, and he made a couple of films.
Great.
Super Argo is watching a diabolical plan to unleash a horde of faceless monsters on the helpless world. One man against the strongest, cruelest, most dangerous team of evildoers ever conceived by the brain of a power-mad mastermind. The only hope is Super Argo, his courage, his strength, his skill.
Another common factor in European superhero movies, or superhero films, as I like to call them, yes, is leaping. They like to leap around.
Well, we very much like the leaping.
Yeah, there's a bit too much leaping in these films for my
never,
liking, but that's a definite link. They like to leap a lot.
Well, I wish that I had the ability to leap an awful lot more than I do.
Well, you'll like this then.
Will I?
Yes, there's a hell of a lot of leaping in the Three Fantastic Supermen.
Because sometimes one Superman just is not enough.
The Three Fantastic Supermen, America's favorite superheroes. 3 times as agile, 3 times as strong, 3 times as clever.
Don't do it, Nick.
Without the use of guns or modern weapons, they fight for truth, justice, and international peace.
Now they were fantastic.
Fan-bloomin-tastic.
Yes.
What was the most fantastic thing about them?
Lycra.
Lycra. That was the fantastic element.
Yeah, and lots of leaping, obviously, although I think I saw a trampoline in there at one point.
Bit of a cheat, I suppose, but it helps, doesn't it, if you want to...
Well, yeah.
Now, would you believe me if I told you that it spawned a whole menagerie of sequels?
I'd be very suspicious.
Well, it did. There was 3 Supermen in the Jungle. There was a Kung Fu hybrid made in co-production with the Shaw Brothers studio called 3 Supermen Against the Orient. And some Turkish knockoffs, 3 Supermen at the Olympics. and 3 Supermen against a mad girl.
That's right.
Well, they sound fantastic. Any more?
Yes, there was the Super Stooges versus the Wonder Women, aka Amazons versus Supermen.
Yay, well, if there's Amazons fighting men, then get in. That's the film for me.
Make way for the Wonder Women, meanest mamas of them all. When they go on a rampage, nobody can stop them. Nobody but the Super Stooges. Dharma, the immortal magician. Chang, the Chinese chopper. And Moon, the Black Samson. See them flip out with their superhuman feats.
Please pop back after the break where we'll be checking out comic book movies from the wider world.
Plus, we'll be lifting the lid on superhero rip-offs that cold shoulder copyright and titter in the face of trademarks.
How dare they?